Welcome back to Declutter Revolution, and we're here to bring you a simple way to declutter, especially if you've ever looked around and thought, where do I even start? Yesterday's video was all about quick wins, things you could throw out right away without thinking too hard. Empty bottles, old receipts, random junk in drawers, just to help you feel lighter fast. Today, we're using that same idea, but we're grouping everything by room. So instead of bouncing from one corner of the house to another, you can go step-by-step bathroom, kitchen, closet. Clear one space, then move to the next. If you've been stuck because you didn't have a clear starting point, this video will make things easier. Let's get into it. Let's start in the bathroom. It's usually one of the smaller rooms in the house, but somehow it fills up fast. Little bottles, old products, towels stacked way in the back. It's easy to ignore, but once you clear it out, it makes a big difference. The first thing I usually tackle in here is makeup. Not the stuff you use every day, the rest of it. The mascara you forgot about, the lipstick that looked good in the store but never quite worked, the eyeshadow palette that's barely touched. I used to keep all of it thinking maybe one day I'd use it, but the truth is if it's been sitting there for months or years untouched, I'm not going to reach for it. And makeup has expiration dates, especially things like mascara and liquid products, so now I keep only what I actually use and like. The rest, I let it go. It's not doing me any favors just sitting there. Next, I move on to personal care products. This one used to sneak up on me. Shampoos, conditioners, body washes, face scrubs, all half used, and for some reason I felt weird tossing them. But at some point, I just got honest with myself. If I didn't like how something felt, or smelled, or if I've clearly stopped using it, why am I still holding on to it? Now when I do a bathroom reset, I open every bottle I've forgotten about and ask, do I still want this? If not, it goes. That shelf space is better used for things I actually enjoy. Once that's done, I take a quick look through our medicine shelf or basket. This doesn't take long, but it's important. Medications expire a lot faster than I used to think. Things we bought when someone was sick months ago are probably expired now, and even if they're not, we usually don't need 5 kinds of cold medicine sitting there just in case. I check the labels, toss anything out of date, and get rid of anything we haven't needed in a long time. It makes it easier to find what we do use, especially when someone's not feeling well, and I don't want to dig through a mess. Then I take a look at our towels. This one's pretty simple. We used to have way too many towels, some old, some mismatched, and some that honestly didn't work well anymore. But because they were still usable, we kept them. Sound familiar? Now I just keep 2 good towels per person, plus a few hand towels. That's it. The rest, if they're still clean and in decent shape, I donate to animal shelters, or cut up for rags. It makes laundry easier and our linen storage isn't overstuffed anymore. By the time I'm done in the bathroom, I've usually cleared out 4 things expired: makeup, forgotten personal care products, out-of-date medication, and worn-out towels. It's not about getting rid of everything. It's about keeping only what actually works for you right now. And when you open a cabinet and it's not overflowing, that small shift makes a big difference in how your day feels. And while we're on the topic tomorrow, I'll be posting a video about organizing habits that seem helpful, but actually make your home harder to manage. It's a good time to clean up and get ready for Christmas. So if you don't want to miss it, go ahead and hit subscribe or turn on the bell so you'll know when it goes up. Now that the bathroom's done, let's move into the kitchen, another space we use constantly but rarely stop to declutter unless there's a big reason like deep cleaning or moving out. The kitchen's one of those places that gets used every day, but we rarely take time to declutter it unless we're deep cleaning or moving out. I usually start with checking the pantry or dry storage just to see what's been sitting there too long. It doesn't have to be complicated. I grab a bag, open one shelf, and check the dates. Crackers that expired last year, canned food we forgot about, seasoning packets that are dusty and half open. You'd be surprised how many of those sneak in. Even unopened stuff can go stale if it's too old. When the shelves are full of things we don't actually use, it makes meal prep feel more stressful than it needs to be. Once I clear those out, I can actually see what we have and plan meals around that. After that, I move to the fridge. This is a space that gets cluttered quickly and then ignored. I'm not talking about deep cleaning the whole fridge, just a 5-minute sweep. I usually find jars of sauce we tried once and never opened again, or random leftovers that no one's touched in days. Even condiments, there's always at least one that's been sitting there way too long. Clearing out that kind of stuff instantly frees up space and makes it easier to keep track of what's still good. Plus, it helps cut down on food waste because you're more likely to use what you can see. Once the food is sorted, I look at something that used to build up without me even realizing it: plastic bags and food storage bags. You know, the drawer or bin where you shove every bag because maybe I'll need it someday. That drawer used to be overflowing in my kitchen. But the truth is, I only ever reach for a handful of them. The rest just pile up. Now I set a limit. I keep a small number of the sturdy ones that actually get reused, and I recycle the rest. It's a small change, but it keeps that drawer from becoming chaos again. And if you use reusable shopping bags, it's the same thing. You really don't need 20. One last thing I always check when decluttering the kitchen is our cleaning products. For some reason, it's easy to collect a bunch of sprays, soaps, and specialty cleaners, especially if you tried one and didn't like it but didn't throw it away. Before I knew it, we had 5 different surface cleaners and a bottle of oven spray I forgot existed. I now keep only what I actually use, usually just one multi-surface spray and dish soap. Everything else either gets used up soon or cleared out. It also makes cleaning less of a chore when I don't have to dig through a bunch of stuff I never use. So by the end of this quick reset, I've gone through expired dry goods, old fridge items, plastic bag overload, and unused cleaning products. Nothing major, just stuff that quietly builds up and gets in the way. Once it's gone, your kitchen feels easier to use. And honestly, that's what makes everyday meals feel just a little smoother. Now that the kitchen's taken care of, let's head into the bedroom. This is where things tend to hide, especially clothes and personal items that we don't really use anymore but keep out of habit. I usually start small with the sock drawer. There's always a few socks without a match. Some might have gotten lost in the laundry months ago, or maybe one sock has a hole and the other's still hanging around. Either way, if it doesn't have a pair, or you haven't worn it in ages, it's time to clear it out. No one needs to dig through a pile of mismatched socks first thing in the morning. Once that's done, I take a look through underwear and bras. This one's easy to put off, but it makes a huge difference. Most of us have a few pieces that are stretched out uncomfortable, or we just don't feel good wearing, but we keep them anyway just in case. I used to save all of it, even things I never reached for. Now I try to be honest. If I always skip over it when I'm getting dressed, there's probably a reason. I keep what fits, what's comfortable, and what I actually wear. After that, I usually move down to the floor or wherever I store shoes. Shoes can take up more space than we realize, and we often keep pairs we never wear anymore. Maybe they don't fit quite right, or they're too worn down, or they gave you blisters that one time and now you avoid them. I look at each pair and ask, when was the last time I actually chose to wear these? If I always reach for something else, they probably don't need to stay. It also frees up space and makes getting ready faster. Next up is jackets and heavier outerwear. These tend to sit in closets for years without being touched. I used to keep coats just because they were expensive or still in good condition, but if I didn't like how they felt or how they looked, I'd avoid wearing them. So now I focus on what I actually use. I keep a few go-to jackets for everyday use and let go of the ones I never grab. It's easier to find what I need when the rail isn't packed with maybe someday pieces. The last thing I check is extra bedding, especially sheets and pillowcases. There was a time I thought we needed multiple sets for every bed plus backups. But in reality, we only ever use one set at a time. Now I keep one in use and one clean set as a backup. The rest, if they've been sitting untouched at the bottom of the closet, get passed along or donated. It opens up space and keeps the linen closet from feeling overloaded. So in this bedroom pass, I usually end up letting go of single socks, worn out underwear, uncomfortable shoes, jackets I don't wear, and extra bedding I forgot I had. None of it takes long, but together it clears a lot of physical and mental space. From the bedroom, we move into the living room or whatever shared space you use most. This is usually the area that collects things out in the open: coffee tables, shelves, corners that slowly fill up with items we stop noticing. One of the first things I like to go through is old magazines or newspapers. At some point, we all tell ourselves we'll read that article or finish that stack, but if it's been sitting there for weeks untouched, it's probably not going to happen. I used to keep a few, thinking they look nice on the table, but honestly, it just made the space feel busy. Now I recycle anything that's out of date or I know I won't read again. If I come across 1 or 2 articles I want to keep, I snap a quick photo or save the idea elsewhere. Once that's cleared, I usually turn to decor items. This one's a bit personal but important. Over time, our style changes or we end up with pieces that don't really match the rest of the room. It could be something you bought years ago or something that was gifted. And while it might have been meaningful at one point, it's okay if it no longer fits. I ask myself, do I actually enjoy looking at this? If the answer is no, I let it go. You don't need to keep things on display just because they're fine. Your space should reflect what feels calm and right for you now. Then there are all the small souvenirs or gifts that end up scattered in drawers or sitting on shelves. Little trinkets from events, branded items, freebies, things we keep just because they came from somewhere. Sometimes it's even a gift from someone we care about, but it's not something we actually want or use. In those cases, I remind myself that the memory or the relationship doesn't live in the object. If it's truly meaningful, I might put it in a memory box. If not, I quietly let it go. By the end of this round, I've usually cleared out old reading material, decor that doesn't feel right anymore, and small items that no longer have a place. It doesn't have to be a huge change, just a few less things competing for attention in the space you relax in the most. Next, let's head into the kids' areas, or wherever the small random items seem to collect. This part of the house gets messy fast, especially if you've got little ones. But even without kids, these are the kinds of things that quietly build up until drawers and baskets are full of who knows what. The first thing I always go through here is broken or forgotten toys. You know the ones: a plastic car missing a wheel, a puzzle with pieces that never turn up, or that toy from a kid's meal that no one's touched in weeks. These things tend to end up at the bottom of toy bins, or worse, mixed in with the stuff your child actually still plays with. I do a quick sort and pull out anything clearly broken, worn out, or outgrown. It makes cleanup easier later for both the kids and for me. Then I look at all the random little objects that somehow sneak in birthday party favors, tiny souvenirs, bits of packaging stickers that lost their stick. These things pile up fast and don't really serve a purpose. They often live in the corners of drawers, inside pencil cases, or tucked in toy baskets. Most of the time, they don't even get noticed unless you're digging for something else. I've found it really helpful to keep a small bowl or container nearby when I'm tidying. Anything that doesn't belong or doesn't get used goes straight in. At the end, I either toss it or donate if it's in good shape and still usable. This is also a good time to involve your kids if they're old enough. Ask them what they still play with and what they don't need anymore. You might be surprised how easy it is for them to say, "I don't want that." Giving them a small say makes it easier for everyone and helps build a little awareness around what they keep. By the time this area is done, I've usually cleared out damaged toys and piles of small, random clutter that didn't belong anywhere to begin with. It might not seem like a big deal at first, but these little things take up space and energy without us even realizing. Last up, let's take a look at the paper pile, whether it's in your kitchen drawer on your desk or stuffed in a box you keep meaning to go through. I usually start with old receipts and documents. These tend to build up: fast grocery receipts, packaging slips, bills from months ago. If it's not something you need for taxes, warranties, or returns, chances are it doesn't need to be there anymore. I used to hang on to way more paper than I needed just in case. But when I actually looked, most of it was already irrelevant. Now I keep only what's necessary and shred or recycle the rest. Once the paper's sorted, I check the craft and office supplies, especially if you have kids who love art projects. Markers that have dried out glue that doesn't stick anymore, pens that barely write, these are easy to overlook. but they take up space and make finding the tools you do use more frustrating. I do a quick test grab a few things, see if they still work, and if not out, they go. No need to keep a drawer full of supplies that just don't function. This area is often a mix of things personal, practical, sometimes sentimental, but even a small round of editing here helps. You end up with a clearer workspace, fewer random piles, and a better sense of what you actually have. By the end, I've usually let go of outdated paper and broken or dried up office supplies. It doesn't take long, but it clears up that last little layer of clutter that tends to get ignored. So that's it. We just went through some of the easiest things to declutter in your home, broken down by space from the bathroom, kitchen, and bedroom, all the way to those random corners with paper piles and leftover party favors. None of it was extreme, just small things that quietly take up space until you clear them and realize how much calmer everything feels. If you made it through even one area today, that's already progress. Tomorrow, we'll be exploring a few common organizing mistakes, the kind that can make your home feel more cluttered even when everything looks neatly put away. More importantly, we'll talk about how to fix them with practical solutions that work for busy households, especially before Christmas. If you found this video helpful, feel free to share it with a friend or hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.